Hi all, Electric Crew here. Welcome back. Something I wanted to talk about briefly is a friend of mine. We were discussing different audio formats, how things are recorded and digital versus analog recordings and such. And did you ever wonder why, especially the really high end guys, really like analog recordings? In other words, recordings that are done on a master tape and recordings such as LPs and such that are pressed right off of a master tape. What is the difference? Something that I haven't considered before. And there's many ways you guys can listen to different types of music. I'm sure a lot of this is not new to many of you. And look at some of the differences here. In a true analog environment, the music is recorded with analog equipment onto a master tape, such as what's interesting as the Neve 8028 mixing console that Dave Grohl purchased for his studio from when Sound City shut down. If you haven't seen Dave's documentary on Sound City, it's well worth it. It's very interesting. Uh, so when music recording analog music onto master tape, it's kind of like a pristine recording of the music from which all other playback formats are derived. You could say straight from the horse's mouth, I guess. The only sound degradation drawback to a master is if you make a copy of a master and another copy of that copy and so on. Now, those familiar with recording on magnetic tape, I'm sure you're familiar with that. But even using a copy of master to make a number of other formats from that copy, it loses some information during the transfer of the audio from the master to the copy. Now, if you have any comments on all this, anything you want to say, go ahead, bring it up in the comments sections. Something you might want to add to what I'm saying here. But music recorded in a digital mixing console, of course, doesn't lose any information unless it's converted into central format, certain formats from the original. And, we're all aware of some of the widely used formats are MP3, ACC, WAV, FLAC, and WAV and FLAC being the highest resolution playback, such as I think CDs are in the WAV file format. But generally, I listen to FLAC files, so anything over that, doesn't concern me because I'm going about as far as I've gone with my audio. I don't plan to spend any more money, and I'm happy with it. I'm happy with how things sound, and that's where you want to be. Well, if you're happy with it, go for it. So, what am I missing in all this? So I guess if you do ask the high-end audio guys and gals, about all this, they'll tell you a few things. But there's software out there I've seen claiming to make digital music sound like analog recording and playback music. And I got to question that because consider how can software, insert and reproduce what's not there in the first place? It's not like the same as converting a 128 kilobyte per second MP3 into a WAV or a FLAC file of higher resolution. You can't reproduce what is not there. And it's curious to me is everybody is on the vinyl. I do have some old vinyl, but I don't have a turntable anymore. But maybe one of these days I'll get some. But you look at some of the vinyl turntables that there have USB outputs, DAC outputs. So I might want to say that even if your vinyl recording has been made from an analog master tape, you're still converting it to digital. And maybe to the critical ear, there may be things missing in your audio. I don't know. But if there's any of you high end guys that are high end, Chime in on this. I want to know. But I'm happy with the humble amplifiers that I've built, listening, to CDs and FLAC files, but there's a lot of vinyl being reproduced today that's pressed from a copy of a master, and some of it from a digital copy. There's some companies out there that are reproducing vinyl that search the world over for a master of a particular album or piece of music so they can actually press from the master. But I can't imagine what that $1 million system sounded like that Ken Fritz built before he passed away. So that must have been pretty awesome. But what's the difference really in all this? Well, I found from what I read, maybe I'm wrong, but chime in on this. It's a pretty simple explanation between analog recording on a master tape and recording digital. If you go over to ATR Magnetics, they have a short page, describing some of the differences. I'll put the link, there's the link on the screen there, but I'll put the link down below in the description. You can go over there and take a look, see what they have to say about their tape. But they say, this is from their website, they say during the 50s and 60s, the magnetic tape, master tape, contained approximately 65 million magnetic particles per second of recording in quarter-inch format. And their tape today is even better. They claim that theirs has about an $80 million, yeah, 80 million oriented and randomly stacked particles per track per second. So it's not just the particle count, they say, it's the random stacking that gives it its super binary resolution. That being said, so how does digital stack up? To me, to my ears, it sounds just fine. Maybe not to some critical ears, I don't know. But interesting enough, today, the highest digital resolution that can be obtained is 4,608,000 bits, is what they're saying on their website. Bits, that's switching per second. And now that's still very good. So I don't know what the sound would be between listening to a master tape, especially with a album pressed from a master tape on some really high-end equipment compared to a digital copy. But there must be some differences there because the resolution is lower with digital, but even though it's still very good. So maybe some things are missing, especially if you have a really high-end system like Ken Fritz built. I can't imagine that. But if you have any comments, chime in and have anything to say about this. I'm just curious. Maybe you have some experience or maybe you can offer up something here. So other than that, I got to say, have a good day and God bless.